Imagine the galaxy-spanning nightmare of Warhammer 40,000. A universe where hope is a myth, death is a statistic, and entire civilizations exist only to feed endless war. A grim, dark reality where even gods bleed, and where every victory is repaid with suffering 1,000-fold. Now imagine dropping Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta, into this hopeless hellscape. A man who has slain titans, toppled Olympians, fought primordial beings, and challenged the very concept of fate itself. A man whose rage could split mountains and whose will is harder than the adamantine of the Imperium. Today, we ask the impossible. What if Kratos, god of war, entered Warhammer 40K? Would he become a champion of the Imperium? Would he wage war against chaos itself? Would the Emperor recognize him? Or fear him? Grab your Leviathan axe, summon your blades of chaos, and prepare yourself. Because this story dives deep into lore, power scaling, gods, demons, Primarchs, and the darkest corners of the warp. This is going to be brutal. It begins with a rupture, not a tear in reality, but something older, something intentional. Kratos is in mid-battle in his own world, striking down a final remnant of an ancient Nordic force. Thor's lightning crack still echoes in the sky above him. The snow beneath his feet melts from the heat of battle. And then the sky splits. Not by magic, not by divine will, but by a warp storm. A spiraling, maddening vortex of screams, colors, and impossible geometries opens above him. The winds tear apart mountains, ripping the bark from Yggdrasil's roots. Even Kratos, hardened by divinity and trauma, feels the hairs rise on his arms. The boy, Atreus, reaches out, but Kratos is sucked upward before a word can be spoken. Darkness. Screaming. A million souls begging for release. Kratos awakens inside the Imperium, the warp. A place built from emotion, thought, and fear. A place where gods feast on the weak. But Kratos is no ordinary soul. He resists the warp's whispers. He resists corruption. He resists the call of demon princes offering him power. The warp shrieks as if wounded. And at the very edge of chaos, a figure senses him corn, the blood god. He tastes Kratos' rage like the scent of fresh blood on steel. A worthy champion. But before Khorne can bind him, Kratos falls plummeting from the warp into real space. He crashes into a devastated world, Cadia, or what's left of it. The rubble smolders. Blackened Aquilas lie shattered. Imperial guardsmen gather around him, trembling. His first words in this new universe. Where am I? To them, Kratos is a massive, scarred, armored giant, a figure as intimidating as an Astartes, but utterly unknown. They demand he identify himself. Kratos simply says, "I seek my son," and a way home, but before tense negotiations unfold, reality splits open with warp energy. A chaos warband emerges, led by a World Eaters champion. They attack immediately. The Cadians are slaughtered in seconds. But Kratos stands his ground. To them, Kratos is a massive, scarred, armored giant, a figure as intimidating as an Astartes, but utterly unknown. They demand he identify himself. Kratos simply says, "I seek my son," and a way home, but before tense negotiations unfold, reality splits open with warp energy. A chaos warband emerges, led by a World Eaters champion. They attack immediately. The Cadians are slaughtered in seconds. But Kratos stands his ground. A World Eater, towering in blood-red ceramite, swings a Shanax at him. Kratos catches it with one hand. The chain teeth grind against his palm, sparks flying. And then, with brutal precision, He pulls the Astartes forward and drives his fist through the traitor's helmet. The battle becomes a slaughter. Kratos moves like a force of nature, blending Spartan technique with divine brutality. The Cadians survive only because Kratos clears the battlefield alone. When the dust settles, the Cadians kneel not out of worship, but out of shock and desperation. Their Vox operator calls for reinforcements. Minutes later, the sky darkens. A gunmetal gray Thunderhawk descends. The icon of the Adeptus Astartes shines on its hull. The Space Wolves emerge, led by a rune priest with glowing blue eyes. He inspects Kratos. "You fight like one of us. But you're not of the Allfather's making." Kratos does not care for titles or questions. "Take me to your ruler." The wolves exchange glances. They agree cautiously. Kratos is taken aboard. Destination: Terra. On the journey, the wolves study Kratos, his physiology, his weapons, his refusal to die even under extreme medical tests. They conclude Kratos is not a mutant, not a psyker, not a human. Something more, something older. When they reach Terra, Kratos is escorted into the Imperial Palace, a place even most Astartes never see. He walks through golden halls, anti-psyker wards, custodians, and saints depicted in marble. Finally, he enters the throne room. The air cracks with psychic power. Countless cables feed into the golden throne. The Emperor's withered body sits unmoving, his psychic presence radiating like a star. Kratos feels it a pressure unlike any god he has faced. Not malice, not chaos, but sheer, immovable will. Inside his mind, a voice speaks, "You do not belong to this universe." Kratos answers aloud, "I seek a way home." Nothing more, but the Emperor is not finished. Your mind resists the warp. Your soul burns bright. You are a weapon, one I could use. Kratos rejects this instantly. "I am no one's weapon." The psychic air trembles. But the Emperor is not angered, he is intrigued. He reveals the truth. Kratos fell into the warp because the gods of chaos sensed a powerful new entity. His presence destabilizes the balance between chaos and order. If left uncontained, Kratos could become a demon king, a living weapon, a god of rage in the warp. Kratos' reaction is simple. "I do not want your war." The Emperor responds. War finds all of us. Suddenly visions fill Kratos' mind. Worlds burning. Titans falling. The ruinous powers laughing. A truce lost in a sea of swirling madness. Kratos clenches his fists. His rage radiates outward, cracking the marble beneath his feet. The Emperor uses this moment. "Help me. Protect humanity. And I will help you find your son." Kratos reluctantly agrees. Not for the Imperium, for a truce. Before Kratos can be deployed, the High Lords want him tested, measured, classified. Their solution? Pit him against the Imperium's greatest sons, the Primarchs. Test one rogue Dorn, stoic and immovable as a fortress, stands ready. They spar with training weapons. Within seconds, Dorn realizes. Kratos anticipates his movements, counters his blows, pushes him back inch by inch. Dorn increases again. Kratos overpowers him. At maximum output, Dorn launches a blow that could crater a Baneblade tank. Kratos catches his fist. The spar ends. Dorn bows his head. He is stronger than any mortal. Perhaps stronger than us. Test two Vulcan salamanders, Primarch, a perpetual with godlike durability, challenges Kratos next. Vulcan strikes with enough force to shatter adamantium. Kratos is sent flying. but returns instantly, driving the Leviathan axe into Vulcan's chest. Vulcan laughs, impressed. Fire meets frost. God meets demigod. The duel lasts hours. Neither wins. Test 3, the Lion Elginson. This is not a contest of strength. This is a contest of skill. And Kratos nearly loses. The lion is too fast. Too precise. Too honed. But when Kratos taps into Spartan rage, the tide shifts. The lion concedes. He fights with the fury of 10 worlds. Test for Angren restricted. The Imperium refuses. The risk is too great. Angren would either kill Kratos, or Kratos would kill a Primarch. Both outcomes are unacceptable. While the Imperium tests Kratos, the Chaos Gods grow restless. They whisper his name. Tinch fears his defiance. Slaanesh desires his emotions. Nurgle laughs at his resilience. But Khorne roars with anticipation. He sends a demon prince with a simple message. Serve me, Ghost of Sparta, and drown the galaxy in blood. Kratos responds by tearing the demon prince in half. Khorne is pleased. You will make a fine adversary. The Chaos Gods mark Kratos as a threat and a potential weapon. The Emperor deploys Kratos to lead a task force into the Eye of Terror to retrieve information about a warp anomaly linked to a truce. Accompanied by space wolves, sister Celestians, and custodians, Kratos marches into hell itself. Inside the Eye, demon hordes swarm. Reality bends. Madness whispers. Time loops. The custodians' legends of humanity speak in awe. He is a legion by himself at the center of the Eye. Kratos confronts a massive warp entity, a greater demon of Khorne. Their battle shakes the Imperium. In the end, Kratos channels every memory of loss, every moment of pain, every fatherly instinct. His rage becomes divine. He kills the demon, permanently. Returning from the Eye, Kratos stands before the Emperor again. The Emperor keeps his promise. He shows Kratos a vision, a truce live, lost in a distant universe, but reachable through a controlled warp tear. But opening such a portal risks demonic invasion, Terra, destabilizing warp breach across the galaxy. The Emperor warns, if you choose this, the Imperium may burn. Kratos answers instantly, I would burn 1,000 worlds. To save my son, the Emperor respects this. But the High Lords do not. They order Kratos imprisoned. He breaks free. He fights through the Imperial Palace. Custodians fall. Sisters fall. Even Astartes are shattered like glass. The Emperor intervenes not in anger, but in understanding. Go. Find your boy. The portal opens. A warp tear storms the chamber. Kratos looks back once, not with rage, but gratitude. Thank you. He steps through. The portal snaps shut. Kratos disappears into the warp, seeking a truce. The Imperium records him as Kratos, the Lost God. Classification, unknown threat level, extinction class status. Missing, presumed active. The Chaos Gods still whisper his name. The Emperor still feels the tremor of his existence. And across infinite universes, a father searches for his son. A cliffhanger, a beginning, not an end.